Now, distortions can creep into your drawing in a couple of different ways. If you draw at a table and you're sitting in front of that table, instead of seeing a square sheet of paper, you're seeing it deformed like so. You're seeing the front edge looking bigger than the back edge. So if you then draw something, you're drawing a circle, and from this perspective it appears to be perfect. But when you pick it up and see the piece of paper as a square, when it's directly in front of you, you will see that you've had a tendency to draw that circle as an oval. So that's why it's very important to use an easel or some way to have that that board perpendicular to your eyesight. So when you're looking at the board, there's the board, and you're looking at it at 90 degrees. If you're looking at it at an angle, you're going to get this kind of distortion, and that's why people use an easel. Now, the easel could be a desk easel, an upright easel, or you could just hold the board, lean it against a table, and as long as the board is at 90 degrees to your eyesight, then you're not going to get any distortion from doing that. The other way to get distortion is if the surface that you're going to draw on is not the same ratio, is not the same shape as the source image, then you also have a tendency for distortion to creep in. So here we have a square and a larger square, and your eyes are now working on this larger square. You've got a tendency to reproduce the drawing in relation to the edges of the larger square, and that's good. If you're going from a square to a rectangle that's not square, there is going to be a tendency for you to be looking at the relationship to the edges and elongating it. So in my espresso workshop, I hope you have access to an A4 printer, which is the most common type of paper these days, because the boards that we use are just a little bit bigger than A2. And A2, the ratio of A4 to A2 is similar to the small square and the big square. It's exactly the same ratio of width and length. So you're not going to get any kind of distortions creeping in. And the espresso workshop is all about having A4 and A2. But if you haven't got access to A4, or if you're doing a commission and somebody's given you a different shape, a square or some other non-A4 rectangle, Just make sure that on the board you're working on, the ratio is the same. And then you're not going to have any distortions creeping. I mean, it's hard enough to actually reproduce a picture anyway. So these little hints are going to help you to avoid some obvious problems.